Welcome to Late Night Horror Stories and True Crime. Tonight's tale is based on one of the most chilling legends to crawl out of the woods of New England, a story whispered by firelight and feared by locals for generations. This is Pigman, the Devil's Washbowl. A tale of strange disappearances, an isolated farmhouse, and a creature that's more than just myth. Turn off the lights, check the locks, and listen closely, because sometimes the things we fear in the woods are real. In the heart of Vermont, tucked between silent trees and winding roads, lies a village so small it barely shows up on a map. It is a place where secrets rot beneath the soil, where memory is long and superstition longer. And at the edge of it all, just beyond the Devil's Washbowl, sits a house once thought abandoned, until the autumn of 2023, when a young couple from Boston moved in, eager for quiet, craving escape. Their names were Anna and Mark Whitaker, newly married. She, a freelance photographer. He, a former engineer turned woodworker. City folk, sure, but the kind that romanticized silence and open skies. The farmhouse was old, whitewashed boards peeling like old scabs, a sagging barn out back, and a wraparound porch that groaned like an arthritic knee. It was cheap, too cheap, but they took it anyway. They arrived in the final days of October, the trees bursting in bloody reds and bruised purples. It was beautiful, yes, but as Anna stepped out of the car, she said the wind smelled wrong, like damp straw and rot. Mark laughed it off. That's just country air, babe. That first night they lit a fire in the wood stove and unpacked boxes. Their dog, a golden retriever named Scout, refused to enter the barn and growled at the tree line. They laughed again, but when Scout growled at the cellar door, Lowe hackled, backing away. Anna didn't laugh. The next morning they visited town, a general store, a gas pump, a diner with a faded sign that read simply, "Eats." Inside, over burnt coffee, Anna asked the old man behind the counter about the Devil's Washbowl. His eyes narrowed. "Why do you want to go poking round there?" "Just curious," she said. "Our property line runs up against it. Thought it might make for good photos." He didn't answer, just looked at her, long and quiet. Another man, mid-50s, thick beard, flannel, spoke up from the corner booth. "You bought the Harris place, didn't you? That's brave." Anna turned. "Harris?" He nodded. "Sam Harris. Boy went missing out there back in '51. Night before Halloween. Never found him. Some folks say he never left." Mark chuckled nervously. "You mean ghosts?" The man didn't smile. Number not ghosts. Something else. They left the store with a bag of canned goods and a strange heaviness. That night Anna dreamed of squealing. Not like a pig. Not quite. Like something trying to sound like one. Something pretending. In the morning, Scout was gone. It was just after dawn. The sun hadn't crested the mountains yet, and the fields surrounding the farmhouse were still cloaked in fog. Anna stood barefoot in the kitchen, staring out at the dew-soaked grass, mug of coffee in one hand, the other clutching Scout's empty collar. "He's probably just chasing squirrels," Mark said, strapping on his boots. "You know him, dumb as rocks when he catches a scent." But Scout had never gone far, not once in the 3 years they'd had him. They spent that morning combing the woods. Anna called until her voice cracked. They found nothing, no tracks, no sound, not even the usual chirping of birds, just silence. As they reached the edge of the Devil's Washbowl, Anna froze. On the base of a tree was a carving, deep gouges, 4 vertical slashes crossed by a 5th. Not claw marks, symbols. "What the hell is that?" she asked. Mark stared at it for a long time. "Probably kids, local weirdos." But Anna took a photo anyway. Something about it reminded her of the old man's words in the diner. He never left. That night they didn't sleep well. A scraping sound came from beneath the floorboards. Mark got up twice to check the basement. Nothing. Anna kept dreaming of the woods, trees that whispered in voices too fast to understand, and a shape crawling just out of reach. The next day they found blood on the barn door. Not a lot, but enough. And above it, etched into the wood, was something sharp. The same 5-line symbol. Anna called the sheriff. A man named Corwin. He drove out, took one look and frowned. "Probably coyotes," he said. "They'll spook a dog. That mark. Local graffiti. Harmless." But when he left, Anna noticed he locked his cruiser doors before walking back to the barn. And when he stepped out of the woods, he looked over his shoulder. That night, Mark suggested setting up trail cams. "Just to catch whatever it is," he said. "Might be some sicko screwing with us." The next morning, the camera was gone, ripped clean off the tree. They found it smashed in the grass 20 feet away. The memory card was missing. Anna wanted to leave. Mark convinced her to stay one more night. "Just one. If something happens again, we go." That night the scratching came back, but this time it wasn't under the house. It was on the bedroom window. Anna crept forward, heart hammering, and peeled back the curtain. And there he was, a figure, naked, broad-shouldered, arms streaked with filth, standing at the edge of the woods. Too far to see clearly except for the head. A grotesque pig's face. Not a mask, not rubber. Real. Dangling ears, hollow sockets, and 2 pinpricks of light in the eye holes, glowing faint and red. The pigman didn't move, just stared. Anna screamed. By the time Mark grabbed the shotgun and bolted outside, the figure was gone. But the grass was flattened where he'd stood. The dirt still smelled of blood. In the morning, the barn door was open again. Inside, they found no sign of Scout. Only deep scratch marks on the walls, and tufts of fur scattered across the hay-covered floor. And carved into the wall behind the hay bales, in something dark and smeared, were the words, "You shouldn't have come." They searched the woods again that morning, deeper this time. Mark carried the shotgun. Anna brought a flashlight and a camera. They called Scout's name again and again. No answer, no barking, just wind through the bare trees. Later that afternoon, Anna sat at the kitchen table, scrolling through her phone. Looking up any mention of Pigman, Vermont, she found exactly what she expected and what she feared. Urban legends, Reddit posts, a few short documentaries with grainy voiceovers and dramatic music. Most traced back to one name, Sam Harris, a 17-year-old who vanished in 1951 while out with friends on picket night, the night before Halloween. His body was never found. A week later, one of his friends was found dead, his throat torn out, eyes missing. Then nothing, until sightings began. A man with a pig's head in the woods near the Devil's Washbowl. She looked out the window. The tree line stood still, but something about it felt aware. "I'm going back into town," she told Mark. "There's got to be someone who knows more." He didn't argue. At the diner, she found her answer in the form of a woman named Mabel Brinley, a former teacher now well into her 80s. She sat alone at the counter, sipping chamomile tea. Anna introduced herself and mentioned the Harris house. "You've seen him," Mabel said, not as a question. Anna nodded slowly. "What is he?" Mabel looked around the diner. "Not here. Come by my place, Sunset Drive, last house on the left, and bring no one." That evening, Anna drove alone. The old woman's house smelled like cedar and mothballs. On the table sat a faded scrapbook, its cover torn and brittle. "Sam was my student," Mabel said. "A good boy. But after his father died, he changed. He'd go wandering in the woods. Said something was calling to him from the Washbowl. He started wearing that mask. First a rubber pig mask, then he made one." Anna leaned in. "Out of what?" Mabel didn't answer, just opened the scrapbook to a photo, grainy, black and white. A group of teens by a bonfire. Sam stood in the back, holding what looked like a snout in his hand. They dared him to go into the ravine that night. Said if he came back before midnight, he'd be a legend. He went in. And didn't come out. "Oh, he came out," Mabel whispered, "just not the same." That night, back at the house, Anna found Mark asleep on the couch. She went to the window. The woods were dark, and then she saw them. Eyes, not just one pair, 4, 6, 8, low to the ground. Watching. She stepped back. A floorboard creaked upstairs. She turned slowly. Mark was still snoring. So who or what was upstairs? She grabbed the shotgun, creeped up the steps. The guest bedroom door was open. Empty. The hallway, cold. And then a sound. A low, wet grunt. She spun. No one there. But on the wall, smeared in something dark and thick, was the symbol. 5 slashes. Fresh. Anna didn't sleep. At dawn, Mark was gone. His boots were by the door. The truck still in the drive. But no sign of him anywhere. And on the porch, scratched into the wood. He belongs to the woods now. The morning was cold and silent. The kind of silence that presses against your ears until it hums. Anna walked through the farmhouse barefoot, calling Mark's name over and over. Nothing answered. The rooms were empty, the coffee pot untouched, the shotgun still leaning by the door. She stepped onto the porch, eyes scanning the tree line. The scratch marks on the porch wood were still there, deep and jagged. She touched them with trembling fingers. Anna had called the sheriff. Again. This time she got voicemail. She left a message. She didn't expect a call back. By noon, she'd packed a bag, flashlight, camera, phone, a hunting knife from the kitchen. She slid the shotgun sling across her shoulder and stepped into the woods. The deeper she went, the more the light seemed to shrink. The trees here were denser, older. Moss hung like cobwebs from skeletal branches. The air was wet, metallic. She followed a narrow game trail that curved toward the ravine, known as the Devil's Washbowl. The name sounded like folklore, but the place itself was real. And according to Mabel, that's where Sam Harris had gone all those years ago. 2 hours in, Anna came upon a circle of trees, huge blackened trunks with no leaves. In the center was a stone altar or something like it, a flat rock smeared with what looked like dried blood. Around it, bones, animal bones, small, large, cracked open. Arranged carefully, deliberately. She took photos, stepped closer. That's when she saw it, tied to a tree at the far edge of the clearing. Mark's jacket. It was shredded, but unmistakably his. She ran to it, heart pounding, fingers fumbling at the fabric. Inside the pocket, a folded slip of paper. On it, written in charcoal, "Go back." She didn't. She kept moving. Another mile in, the ground dipped sharply, and there it was, the Washbowl. A hollow depression in the earth, maybe 50 yards across. Thick fog clung to the basin like a lid. Anna stepped down slowly, shotgun ready. Every step sounded too loud. In the center of the ravine stood an old shack, half collapsed, covered in moss. She approached it. The door was hanging off its hinges. Inside it was worse than she imagined. Animal skins hung from the beams. A table made of bones, symbols carved into every wall. And in the corner something that froze her blood. A photograph, framed black and white. A teenage boy grinning, holding up a carved pig's head. The eyes on the head were missing. The boy's eyes were wide with pride. The name scratched into the frame, Sam, 1951. Anna backed out. The fog had gotten thicker. That's when she heard it, low, guttural grunting. Then breathing, heavy, wet. She turned, shotgun up. A shape moved in the fog. Then another. Then closer. It was a sound halfway between a squeal and a scream. Echoing, awful. She ran. Through the woods, branches slicing her arms, thorns catching her clothes. She didn't stop until the farmhouse came into view. She slammed the door behind her and locked it. Pushed the couch in front, then the kitchen table. Night was falling. In the dark, she checked her photos. The altar, the shack, the bones, the jacket. And then she noticed something she hadn't seen when taking the pictures. In the background of one, behind the tree line, a face. No, not a face. A pig's head, watching. At midnight, the phone rang. It was the sheriff's voice, but distant, warped. Anna, come outside, it's time. She hung up, tried to dial back, no signal. Something scraped the porch. She crept to the window, pulled the curtain. There, standing in the yard, was Mark. He was shirtless, covered in dirt. His eyes were wide and blank. Behind him, the Pigman, massive, breathing, holding something. Mark turned slowly, opened his mouth. But it wasn't Mark's voice that came out. It was a snort. Then, a squeal. Then, they were gone. Anna stepped back, shotgun shaking in her hands. On the window, smeared in something dark, were the words, "Tomorrow is picket night." October 30th, the final day before picket night. The wind howled around the farmhouse like wolves closing in. Anna didn't sleep. She paced the floor with the shotgun in hand, every window covered, every door blocked. She could feel it. The woods were alive. Watching, breathing. As the sun rose behind thick clouds, the air turned bitter. Frost gathered on the inside of the window glass. Anna gathered candles, food, and filled the bathtub with water. She didn't know why, just that something told her she needed to. She found Mark's wedding ring on the back porch, sitting in a pool of dried mud. That evening, just as the sky bled into black, the power died. The lights flickered once, then darkness. Anna lit every candle. The flames wavered as if disturbed by something unseen. She sat on the floor with the shotgun across her lap. Then came the sounds, grunting, scraping, something dragged across the roof. She bolted upright. Then, footsteps, in the attic. She climbed the stairs, each one groaning under her weight. The air grew cold the higher she went. She reached the attic door. It was cracked open. Inside, darkness. She stepped in, gun raised. The floor creaked. Then a sudden flash. A face in the corner, inches away. The pig's head stitched to flesh, its jaw slack. Anna screamed and fired. The blast lit the attic like lightning. When the smoke cleared, there was nothing there. Just claw marks in the wood, and a trail of blood leading to the crawl space. She backed out, heart hammering, and slammed the door shut. The phone rang again. This time no voice, just breathing, then a low, guttural whisper. "Bring him back." Anna ran to the cellar door. It was open. She descended slowly, candle flickering. The air smelled of earth and rot. In the back corner of the cellar was a pit, a freshly dug hole. She stepped closer. Inside was a figure. Mark, naked, curled in the dirt, eyes closed, lips moving, muttering something over and over. "Sam, Sam, Sam." She reached for him. He grabbed her wrist, hard, then opened his eyes. Not Mark's eyes. Glowing red. He growled, then screamed, a squeal of rage, and shoved her back. She fell hard, hitting her head against the wall. Darkness. When she woke, it was morning, silent. She stumbled upstairs. The doors were open, the woods were still. The symbols on the barn door had been burned away. She found Mark's clothes folded neatly on the porch. No sign of him. The only clue, etched into the wood beside the door. The forest took what was owed. A week later, Anna was gone. Neighbors said she packed up in the middle of the night. Never said goodbye. Just vanished. The farmhouse sits empty again. For sale, dirt cheap. Locals don't go near the Washbowl, not anymore. But every picket night when the fog rolls in and the air smells of rot. Some say you can still hear it. The squealing, the breathing. And if you look deep enough into the trees, you'll see him. Pigman, watching, waiting. Thank you for joining us this evening. If you enjoyed tonight's tale and want more stories that chill the spine and stir the shadows, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We bring you horror stories and true crime tales every week, just the way you like them. Dark, unsettling, and unforgettable. Until next time, stay safe. And remember, some legends never die. They wait in the dark for you.